Psst, check this out.
Hey guys, welcome to the Backchannel. In today's episode, I want to talk about how founders generally approach fundraising and how I feel like they skip so many steps. I have a lot to say on this topic, but I'm going to break it down into smaller sub episodes. And in this episode, I want to talk about the very first step, which is just evaluating what is in front of them and what their options are, what the path for them actually should be. I think what ends up happening is founders look at their companies and their building and they have some kind of need. And I think all needs are valid, but for founders, the needs that they have all seem to be bucketed into one major solution, which is venture capital. Their needs could be a lot of things. They could need $10 million to open up a physical plant to develop a physical product. Manufacturing facility. They could need $1 million to hire a bunch of engineers and build a really technical product, or they could be really uncomfortable living on very little money and need a little bit of money to pay for their rent, to get their co-founder to be able to move across the country to live and work in the same city, to grow faster, to do a bunch of different things. There's a wide range of needs out there when it comes to your companies. And the solution a lot of times is money. And the only type of money people think about is venture capital. And I've gone through too many conversations and looked at too many options to know that that is just not the case. So what I want everyone to make sure that they do is take a step back. And I know a lot of you are like shaking your head and you're like, no, I know that the right path for me is venture capital. Hold on a minute and just take a step back and make sure you know what your company is, what the opportunity in front of you is, and where you want to be in 5-10 years. There are a ton of easy to make mistakes when growing a startup. I feel like I've either made them all myself or seen them all as an advisor and investor. One super common one is waiting too long to bring in expert help around managing company finances. I get why that happens though. You're not a tiny company anymore, but you feel like you're not big enough to have an in-house finance team and don't want to waste money. My advice to you is to avoid the mistake of just winging it. This is not a time to fake it till you make it. At least talk to someone early so that you can hear about how the additional help could actually save you money and improve your operations. If you're looking for recommendations on who to talk to, check out Propeller Industries. They've worked with hundreds of venture to growth stage startups, so have a ton of deep knowledge to help you avoid major bumps and set your company up for success, whether it's talking to investors or planning for future growth. Set up a free call by going to fundedpod.com/propeller. That's PROPELLER, and tell them we sent you. They're giving Funded listeners a one-time $2,500 new client credit if you work with them for 3 months. Now, there have been other episodes where we've talked about what venture capitalists need and what you need to show them, but I want you to know that even within the realm of a venture-backed company, there can be different tranches of capital. I just got done in a conversation with the founder of Aquaria who raised over $100 million, and one of his major points was when he went out to raise capital, he didn't realize what venture capitalists actually would be interested in his company. And then he didn't realize that there are parts of his company that could be financed in different ways, from debt to equity, which changes the whole equation of how he went out to raise capital. And when you are thinking about what your company needs, I won't even go into the detailed framework to try to evaluate what your company needs. What I want to tell you is a shortcut to try to figure out what your options are. And that is to look around the industry, look around your networks to try to find someone who's maybe 1 to 2 steps ahead of you and ask them what they did and ask them what options they considered and ask them options that after they were done, they realized that they had overlooked. This is one of the most important ways to be running a company, to short circuit problem solving, is to not feel like you have to come up with the answer de novo on your own, that you don't need to reinvent the wheel, that a lot of other smart people have been where you are today. I think this bit of advice works for so many different problems in life and in business, but I want to make sure that everyone who's considering going out to raise capital at least applies it to this situation, because you might be shocked at how many good pieces of advice, or at least data points for you to consider, you will run into. Everything from, yes, you could raise venture capital, but you don't have to now. Maybe you should raise capital from angels first. Or did you realize that your company has some sort of application to some of these government initiatives? There might be some grants, non-dilutive grants available to you. Are you sure you need to raise capital now if what you actually need the capital to do is this? Have you thought about trying to build it yourself this way? There are just so many different options. I hate to see people rush into the option without evaluating other situations, without getting more advice from people that have been there, and just going into the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong set of directions. All right. So don't rush into just pitching or just going out to figuring out how to fundraise. Make sure you take step one, which is evaluate your opportunities in front of you, the options and the path that are right for you. From there, you can make some way better decisions. All right. I hope this is helpful. I hope this puts you on a great path, and I hope to see you on another episode of the Back Channel.